Hey guys, welcome back to Mock Draft Madness, day 12 of doing a mock draft every single day until the NFL draft. There is a little bit of news that's going to affect how the mock draft goes. The Tennessee Titans have signed Calvin Ridley, kind of a shocker, to a 4-year, $92 million deal. So to me, that kind of takes them out of the running for a wide receiver in the first round. Not saying they can't go there later, but in the first round. I thought we could do a cool mock today where possibly we have the Arizona Cardinals trading out of 4 because, they released Humphreys and then they signed Jonah Williams within a 30-minute span. So before they signed Jonah Williams, I'm like, oh, we can do a cool mock where they trade back and get a tackle and maybe do wide receiver in the later round. But not going to be the case. So, as always, if you don't know ball, want to know ball, be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. Leave a like as well. Also, let me know in the comments trades you want to see me try. Doing a mock draft every day. I want to try some different things. If you got any ideas, I'm open to trying them. I always try out the comments, so leave those below. So we're going to start off here, and we are going to go Caleb Williams to the Bears. Pretty simple. Jaden Daniels to the Washington Commanders, and then Drake May to the New England Patriots. So now we have the Arizona Cardinals, and because they signed that right tackle, I'm still going to have them going Marvin Harrison. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. I think JJ McCarthy is going to go to the Giants, the Vikings, or the Broncos. I don't necessarily get the vibe that the Raiders are going to be moving up for JJ. And I think it's going to be one of these teams. And I would almost say that the Vikings are a little bit more desperate than any of these teams here. Because they let Kirk walk. They have had a good team with Kirk for a while. This is the GM's first swing on a quarterback, really. So I am going to have the Vikings trading up. I know this is something that we have done quite a bit, but to me, this is just something that is the reality for what is going to happen. So I'm going to have them first, second, and first next year, and then maybe fourth next year as well. So I'm going to force that trade through, and the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock, and they are going to be taking J.J. McCarthy. It's just, guys, it's a quarterback league, and the Vikings need a quarterback badly. Justin Jefferson needs to sign an extension there, and if I'm Jay Jettas, I'm not signing up for the long haul if I don't know who my quarterback is going to be. And they better hope JJ is the right guy, because in my opinion, I see the Broncos living with Nix. I see the Raiders possibly living with Penix. I don't see the Vikings really going for either of those guys. So we have the New York Giants up on the board. I am going to give them Malik Neighbors. Now, with the Titans on the clock, they have the receivers. They have Hopkins. They have Ridley. They have Burks, however you want to feel about him. You got Chig. Alt right here makes a lot of sense for them. Now, is there a team that could possibly come up here and trade up? I don't know why necessarily for who. Maybe it's for Rome. Maybe that might be the Bears to secure them. I don't really know what one of these teams is going to trade up for that type of receiver. So we are going to go Joe Alt to the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Atlanta Falcons added Darnell Mooney. They have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. They have Bijan Robinson. They have Kirk Cousins. I doubt they go receiver here. I am leaning towards an edge, and I think Dallas Turner is the easy choice here. We've gone Dallas Turner the last couple days. I think it makes the most sense. Rome Odunze to the Bears makes too much sense. Now, we're sitting here with the New York Jets. So, I have been thinking about this a lot, and I have been going tackle with them. But with the way that they have kind of rebuilt this offensive line, I don't know what I want to do here. I could give them a tackle, but I'm going to mix this one up, and this is something I've never done in my draft because I usually hate seeing it in mocks. I'm going to give them Brock Bowers and give Aaron Rodgers another weapon. So now we are sitting here with the Los Angeles Chargers at number 11, and Talisa Fuaga is sitting here perfectly to pair with Rashawn Slater. And if the Chargers want to be a run-heavy team, this is a perfect selection for them. At number 12, we have the Denver Broncos. So, who could possibly want to come up here? Who wants to make the trade? Who wants to move up for one of these edge rushers, or not edge rushers, one of these interior rushers and one of these corners? I don't know if there's anybody that is sitting right here. I'm thinking, the Broncos. So okay, I know what I'm going to do. I just planned it out in my head, and we'll have it play out later in the draft. So, the Denver Broncos definitely are going to need wide receiver help. I don't know who you'd really take after the top 3 go here, and you could pair one of the corners with Pat Surtain, and that is something that I have done. So I'm trying to figure out something a little bit different that we can do. I'm going to give them Jared Verse because I don't believe I have ever given them Verse in any of my mock drafts, and building on those trenches is kind of essential. So at number 13, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Bengals also did just agree to terms with Sheldon Rankins, so this was a possible trade-up spot for one of the DTs. So what I think I'm going to do is I am going to do a trade with... they could use corner here. I'm going to do a trade with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to have them, I was going to have them move up, but I don't know how realistic that is with the capital that they have. Because I think they could really use an interior rusher due to the fact that Christian Wilkins just went to the Raiders for so much money. And I'm trying to think here who could use a really nice interior rusher. The Houston Texans could, but I don't know if anyone's going to move up, actually. Now that I'm looking at the board like this, I am going to give them Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. At number 14, we have the New Orleans Saints. Olu Fashanu sitting right here for them. Easy pick. Number 15, we have the Indianapolis Colts. I really think they could go defensive back here. They could go Cooper DeJean. Honestly, they did re-sign Grover Stewart, but you do still want to get better on that interior. But I'm going to give them Quinyon Mitchell because I think the secondary is a little bit more of a concern. At number 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks. So they do need let's see, they don't have a second. So let's see if there's someone willing to move up here to give us their second so we can recoup that draft capital. Now let's see who would possibly be interested in coming up. We have the... You know what? I'm going to try this. I am going to do a trade with the Detroit Lions. Let me find... Why am I missing them? Why am I missing them? Detroit Lions. We are going to give them our second to move up. And maybe like a fourth next year. We're going to force this trade through. Okay. So now the Detroit Lions are going to be taking Byron Murphy. A line with a Lee McNeil, Byron Murphy, Aiden Hutchinson, and then I'm blanking on the edge that I believe they added Marcus Davenport. That D-line is vastly improved, and that pass rush is vastly improved. At number 17, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, in all honesty, after missing out on Calvin Ridley, don't really have the guy. So I'm going to give them Leatu Latu because here's my thing. Yes, they have Trayvon Walker. Yes, they have Josh Allen, but with the way the Jaguars have handled the Josh Allen negotiations, man, I don't know. I feel like they've lost all leverage, and it's very possible Allen could basically hold them over the barrel and say, I'm not signing unless you give me this much. So I think, really solidifying your pass rush with Leatu Latu would be a good pick here. Honestly, you could take a corner here. You do need corner help. You signed Darnell Savage as a safety, but I don't know, man. I was talking about this with Dobbs, and the Jaguars are honestly just the most confusing team I have ever kind of watched in these last couple years, it seems like they were so close and then they just butcher it. They make horrible moves. I don't understand their offseason at all. Losing Calvin Ridley and getting Gabe Davis, and I understand that the, Titans offered him a bag, but they were kind of holding out on, in my opinion, an offer until the new league year, so they kept their second-round pick, and then you lose out on Calvin Ridley, and now Gabe Davis is your wide receiver 1? And I don't necessarily know if you go Brian Thomas, because then it's like Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk. It's just a really, really weird receiver room, and God, Trent Baalke, what are you doing? I swear to God, Trent Baalke has to be... I know he has a burner. They found his burner on Twitter, and I wouldn't be surprised if Trent Baalke is drinking on the job. Maybe he needs to put away the Tito's. But at number 18, we have Jerzon Newton to the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, actually, I don't know. They drafted Sheldon Rankins, or they just signed Sheldon Rankins. So Newton would be good. I'm going to give them J.C. Latham. At number 19, we have the Los Angeles Rams, who have basically rebuilt their line. And I think a good pick for them could be Cooper DeJean. I think that would be really nice for them. They do need help on the D-line, so I'm going to put Jerzon Newton next to Aaron Donald. If, Newton, a little undersized. That's what they said about Donald, and he ended up being a great player for them. So at number 20, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just traded away Deontay Johnson, and I honestly did not like the trade at all. I know it's probably just to get him out, but I'm going to give them Brian Thomas Jr. to play alongside George Pickens. At number 21, we have the Miami Dolphins on the clock. Now, you could go center here, and you do need defensive interior. There's really not a defensive interior guy that I love at this position. So they did not pick up that second-round pick. I'm trying to think of who could possibly move up here, give them their second, and would be able to, supply them some draft capital. I don't really know who's worth moving up here for a second, honestly. So I am just going to give them Jackson Powers-Johnson. Just very easy pick at center. At number 22, Cooper DeJean. Whenever it gets there, it's just very, very easy. At number 23, we have the Houston Texans. The interior guys are off the board here. They signed Danielle Hunter, and, they could go wide receiver here. They have Tank Dell. They have Nico Collins. They brought back Noah Brown. They have John Mechie. Now, I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the number one need for them. They did also sign Shahir. I'm blanking how to say his first name right now. But they had a very active free agency, so what I'm thinking is, why don't we just load up on edge with Chop Robinson here? Like, develop him behind Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. Don't make him be that dominant pass rusher or that alpha pass rusher, and see what you can get out of him in a year or two. At number 24 to the Dallas Cowboys, Fautanu to the Cowboys makes too much sense. He can play tackle. He can play any position on the interior. At number 25, we have the Green Bay Packers on the board. I am going to pair Xavier McKinney with Tyler Nubin and see what we can do. I think that would be a very, very scary secondary. With Davis going to the Lions, I am going to take Nate Wiggins here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At number 27, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, see, this would have been fun to go tackle first and wide receiver later. Maybe I'll try that tomorrow's draft. I doubt it's going to happen, though. They have Jonah Williams. They don't really need that tackle now. Maybe they do double up on receiver. I did that yesterday, though. I did double up on their wide receiver. Given Graham Barton, someone who can play anywhere on the interior, and you're really starting to build that O-line. At number 28, we have the Buffalo Bills, and what I am going to do is I am going to have them trade back with the Denver Broncos. Let me try to find the Denver Broncos. Maybe they don't. Ooh, their next pick is 76, so maybe they're not going to be doing that. I'm going to have them trade back with the Las Vegas Raiders then, because my whole goal was to, have a team move back, and I am going to give them our second and our third to move up to 28 and then I'm going to force that trade through, and then the Las Vegas Raiders are going to take Michael Penix Jr. At 29, we're sitting here with the Seattle Seahawks. Give me Zach Frazier to fill in that center spot. At number 30, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who are in a very interesting position because Morgan Moses is gone. Kevin Zeitler is a free agent. John Simpson is gone. And, so they basically have Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Lindenbaum. So they have both guard spots open, and they need a tackle spot they need to fill. So I'm going to go Amarius Mims with best player available for the Baltimore Ravens. At number 31, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They need O-line. Give me Tyler Guyton. At number 32, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't think they're really going to go anywhere other than, I guess this is my thing. If they sign Hollywood Brown, do you think the Chiefs go wide receiver in the first round? I don't think they do. I think they may go with a guy like a Jordan Morgan because they do need that tackle spot filled. Sumatia is also a good option. And you're not going to get him in the second round with where they're picking. So I'm going to go Jordan Morgan to the Kansas City Chiefs. So this has been my mock draft madness day 12. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. If there's any trade scenarios you want me to try, I'll be back tomorrow with day 13. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.